This is crazy, man. Every time you think you done seen it all, here comes something else. Guys, welcome back into another video. You know what I'm saying? It is I, your Lord and Savior, back again with another reaction. This one here caught my attention. I really gotta see this. I didn't even think these people existed. Again, my mind immediately thinks to, a different type. But you'll see what I'm talking about once we get into the video. But before we get into the video, guys, y'all already know the deal. Guys, if you like the content that is being produced on this channel, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe button. Those two things are absolutely free. Doesn't cost you a dime, but it does help out the channel, helps us grow, and helps us be seen. So I appreciate all you guys who do. Thank you. Last but not least, guys, go ahead and share the content as well as hit that notification bell. Hit the notification bell. You are kept in the loop and in the know of anything and everything that's being posted on this channel. So without motherfucking ado, let's get into it. All right, y'all. This is crazy. I saw this title and I was like, what the fuck is this? Now, I've done reactions to Jubilee's Middle Ground segment before. Those were pretty good, pretty innovative in terms of getting two groups together to see if they can actually form a common or middle ground on the topics or the ideas that's being discussed. This particular one is pertaining to male feminists to anti-feminists who are female. So it's men versus women. I've never really heard of male feminists. For me, as I've seen, my experience, again, this is anecdotally, so I'm just speaking on my experience. The guys who claim to be feminists, that are straight guys, usually are claiming to be feminists so they can fuck. Like, that's what I usually would see. I haven't seen this, so this might be pretty interesting. Now, the video is pretty long. I'm probably not going to react to the whole thing realistically because it is so long. I just got to see what the talking points are and what they're discussing because it just caught my attention and I was like, what the fuck is this? We'll see what the male feminists are talking about. All right, let's get into it.
Can I ask you a question, though, or ask the group a question? There's more world leaders who are male, and typically I think
Good, that's a good thing. Women should not be in positions of extreme leadership like presidents, et cetera, because we're too emotional.
I'm feeling a lot of emotions right
Wow.
now.
If you agree, step forward. Women have more privileges today than men.
Yeah.
I went back and forth on this one, thinking about the difference between more and different.
Oh, my girl! I'll be watching her. She got some good shit. She got some good content. Y'all need to check her out. Her name is Amala.
Have you ever had a dream that you could
distinctly different privileges than men have, but with this new feminist movement that is arising, more of the third, fourth wave, we are finding, I think, that women are placed and pedestalized above men in a lot of ways. There's affirmative action hiring and scholarships where women, sometimes even regardless of academic standing or achievement, are prioritized above men. But men also have different privileges that they get to access. I struggle to say more, but I think I do agree with the feminist movement now. There is more.
If you are born into this life with a vagina, you inherently have 10 times more privilege than a man. From the time they are little, girls are always like doted on and you're so pretty and cute.
Pampered, yeah.
They're coddled,
Yeah.
right? As they should be, we want that feminine, nurturing energy in them. You can kind of be a degenerate woman and have a hot body and be a millionaire on OnlyFans. Men don't have that privilege. Now, women don't have to work to get a guy. They're just hot. And then guys come to them and spend their resources on them. A man has to prove himself. He has to build a body. He has to make money. He has to build influence. He has to become a protector, a provider. Women just have that naturally by just having a vagina, as I said.
That's why it's frustrating, because the feminist movement has been all about women acting like they don't have rights and acting like they have it pretty hard in the modern day world. I can't think of a single thing that I don't have that a guy has, or
That
you
they
know,
only have.
like,
I would say the
yet
one
they
thing I
only
would
have.
say is the safety thing. That's the only thing that I would say is that women are disadvantaged from. By nature, women are not as physically strong. I mean, you're physically strong, but as physically strong.
I'll take it.
It's great biceps. And men just are. And if you're walking down a dark alley as a woman, you're going to feel some type of way sometimes,
That's
right?
why we need guns.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I can somewhat agree with her for sure. I mean, it's just the way of the life. It's just the way things are. I really don't understand why these fucking idiots are sitting in the back there. I don't get it. I don't get why they're doing it. Because again, as I've said, now these particular guys, I don't personally think that they are of the nature to try to weed their way in. Fuck. I think they probably truly believe in what they're saying. But I mean, to be honest with you, based upon the question, I would probably have to agree. I mean, women are pretty much, a lot of women, especially if you're beautiful, especially if you have something going for you like that, you're very, very privileged. Like she said, I mean, you can literally get online and make millions of dollars by just selling pictures and selling feet pics and getting in clubs for free, getting drinks bought for you. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature, getting hit on because, again, the man himself is the one that has to do the pursuing. We have to be the ones that have to go out there and say, hey, look, you know, I like you, I want you, I like this, blah, 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 blah. We have to be the ones to do that. So by us doing that, we're the ones already at a disadvantage because now we put the ball in your court for you guys to reject us or to say yes, whichever it is that you want to say. But we do have to do all that. We work the more laborious jobs. We work the more intense jobs, you know what I mean, as far as men go. As far as more privileges, yeah, they have privileges. They don't have as much rights as us. I think everybody's on equal rights in terms of men and women. They don't have any rights that they can do that we don't have, right? I don't know, like I said, I don't know why those group of dudes are just sitting back there. I love to hear what they got to say, but it probably ain't nothing smart.
To talk a little bit more about like the judicial system. When it comes to, let's say, domestic dispute, if a woman calls the police, they automatically show up, arrest the man. This is the Duluth model, I think is how you pronounce it.
So I'm in the way, so I'm going to read it because she's referencing the Duluth model. Focuses on men who commit the crime of domestic violence and female victims. Its theory is based on an understanding of male power, control, and dominance as culturally and historically pervasive, and which allowed, if not encouraged, men to control women, sometimes using violence. That's from the National Institution of Justice, Crime Solutions. So in essence, what it's saying is that it's automatically a trigger for the most part for if something is being called into question in regards to a domestic violence situation, the man is going to be more targeted as the perpetrator rather than the woman, because it's going based solely off the fact that we are stronger in sense of physically superior to a woman. So anything dealing with domestic violence, they're automatically going to assume that, oh, the dude did it.
And that's already in place. It's not necessarily like a right or anything, but it's certainly in all of the police departments. Is if feminism is all about equality, why would you automatically arrest a man? When they arrest him, his name is in the newspaper automatically. The fact that a woman can say Jane Doe and she doesn't have to put her name out there, what skin in the game is there?
And there's so many instances of that. I know men personally who have had domestic violence within the relationship with children involved, unfortunately. And the woman attacked the man in front of the child, and he's still, I know 2 instances personally, and he's still fighting to get the child back. That's from the Me Too movement. Congratulations. You guys got that.
It kind of invalidates the women who do come forward and who have faced rape and sexual assault and all of that.
It does.
Because then it kind of turned into a Twitter hashtag.
That's correct.
Where women were like, oh, you know what, I'm going to join. Like, this seems fun. Like,
For clout.
it's not
for
fun.
clout.
I think it's a mixed bag. I don't think the Me Too movement was inherently harmful. It's the Me Too movement when you
Right.
couple it with something like believe all women. That's when it becomes
And the
inherently harmful.
victimization
It
of women who
encouraged people.
aren't really victims.
The prompt is, do women have more privileges. We have privileges simply by virtue of being women. We have privileges with affirmative action. We have privileges in family court, and we have privileges as far as being believed and forgiven. It's something that should be acknowledged.
That's correct.
Can I have the disagreeer step forward?
I gotta see this. I gotta hear this, dog.
I appreciated the distinction of more versus different privileges. You can't just use a broad brush and paint the entire debate and say, all right, well, this is men have more than women, that's it. Like, women that must inherently then have no privileges. That's not how it works. And that's where we start to get into the idea of like intersectionality, where another woman who had a different experience, if it was a trans woman, if it was a woman of color.
I get it. These guys are fucking losers. That's what it is. They're losers. I was looking for the word.
Color. If it was
But
a woman
I don't
who
think we're
was,
including trans women into feminism.
and I
That's
think
a
we definitely
whole
should.
other- I don't
Like,
think we should
I don't think
at
we
all.
should.
I think that trans women should not be a part of the feminist movement because a man, just because they, wake up and feel like they can be a woman one day, could come in and then suddenly.
I'm trying to determine why are her hands orange. Like her hands are fucking orange, bro. Like check it out. The next clip that Kaylee shows, her hands are orange as fuck, bro.
Know what it's like to have a period or know what it's like to have a child. It's anything from
See? Like she got on like gloves, bro. Like those gloves. Yeah.
men replacing women in sports to men replacing women on podcasts during Women's Month and when we're talking about women's health, or you've even got biological men who think they're women going to the White House speaking on behalf of all women.
I do have a question for you based on the prompt, though, because you've lived in both experiences, at least socially. I'm curious, when you transitioned to male and people started perceiving you as male, like most people did today, what privileges changed for you, or what did you see enter your life that you didn't have before?
Yeah, and that's sort of where a lot of my beliefs in feminism do lie, is because being out into the world as a gay woman was the way I was seen. Men treated me definitely not nearly as well as they did. I was bullied in school. I had people call me slurs, and it seemed like it was because I was threatening to like the male structure that we are in.
It wasn't.
Like male and female.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It had nothing to do with that. People bullied people because they merely just wanted to bully people. Now, I'm not saying that I was a bully, but I am saying that people just bully people just because. It really has nothing to do with most things. This goes into an entirely different subject, which I've already discussed before, about the softness of the fucking human society. It was just weird. It's always been weird to me, that concept of, oh, I'm getting talked about now, I want to sniff and cry in my pillow because somebody called me ugly. You got to know these things. My thing is what I say is if somebody says something about you that is not even remotely true, it shouldn't even bother you in the first place. The reason why it bothers you is because you already have a fragile self-perception of who you are. So you don't really know who you are at that point in time. So if somebody calls you ugly, and then you start to kind of equate the fact of, hey, I don't have a lot of friends, I don't have anybody talking to me, I have nothing going on in that regard, maybe I am ugly. That's a more you problem, right? If somebody says something about me, calls me ugly, calls me fat, calls me whatever these things are, these things won't bother me because I know that it's not what I am. You're not going to bother me by saying or stating something that is not a fact. The only thing that should bother you should be a fact. If it is a irrefutable fact, it should bother you. But if you know that this is not what you are or who you are or what you represent or anything remotely to that, it shouldn't bother you to the degree to where you want to go and cry your life away and just boo-hoo. Oh, he called me ugly online. So, who gives a fuck, right? So,
because I was a female who liked females, I was somehow infringing on that, and so they didn't like me. Things change naturally when you socially transition and are perceived by the world in a different way. When I transitioned,
I don't really count this because the reason I don't count this is because you were a woman who transitioned to a man. I'm talking about dudes, like straight dudes. That's why I say straight guys. Why they would be feminists. I mean, you're just
male to the world to just pretty much passing or blending full time as male was that I got a lot more respect from other men. People listened to me and took me seriously. In a social passing setting, people aren't going to harass women who are around me if I'm walking with them at night, which is just a benefit I never thought about.
The caveat, actually, so I say that, yes, there are some privileges that women have that men don't, but also there's privileges that men have that women don't. I don't think women are more privileged in our society because I could get a woman pregnant and I could just run away.
They could get you
Well, they
for
can
child
get you for
support.
child support, which they
But are you
do.
saying she can't run away?
Go to jail.
Are you saying
They could
she
take
can't
your
run away
money.
from the pregnancy?
But you could
But
actually
yes.
physically.
See, that's so stupid. See, that's why I said, man, these folks are stupid. I can get her pregnant and I can run away. Man, she'll find out who you are and put you on child support, right? So there you go. Boom, you're done. Next argument.
I know what you're
physically
saying.
leave. At the end of the day, I don't see women having more privileges than men because we don't have the same, there's no way to objectively measure it.
Well, and in the scenario that you pointed out, I mean, if a woman was pregnant, she wouldn't be able to get an abortion in most
In some
parts
states,
of the country.
yes. In some states,
That's
That's a major disadvantage.
It's not really a disadvantage, guys. Like, what are we talking about here? What they did is they put it back to the state. They put it on a state level now to where you can't do it, right? So they pretty much put it in the hands of the state. And the reason they did that is because of the fact of now it's more of an even playing field in terms of that. Yes, I agree. When it came to the dynamic of the man and the woman having a kid, it was one of those things to where all power was to the woman. She could choose to keep it. She could choose to get it aborted, whatever the case may be. She could choose those things, right? So by her choosing those things, the man didn't have a say-so in that. But now, since it's now a state level, they're taking it away from the woman, and they're like, none of y'all can do that shit. Fuck that. So the man can't do anything, nor can you. You gotta have this motherfucking baby. Y'all both laid down. Y'all both cultivated this baby together. You're gonna fucking have it. That's all that did. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
You can't get an abortion, but children can go get a gender change at 12 with a
Feels
parent
like you're
at
very
15
fixated on that.
without consent.
That's not true.
It feels like you're very
as
fixated
someone who
on
went
that.
I know the laws as well. Have been
I
set.
went through this.
I know, in some states you can, and in Thailand you can go at 16 and get your everything cut off.
Guys, it's less than 5%.
I know.
I know.
It's such a
doesn't
small.
matter.
It's such a small
It doesn't
subset
matter.
of the
Let's be
population.
fair.
But you can't say that about it. Does matter though. When you have a child, you're not a
That's
parent
between
yet.
the parent and the child.
Can I ask you a question though, or ask the group a question? There's more world leaders who are male, and typically I think
Good, and
leadership.
that's a good thing.
I know it's
Well, he
weird
was
coming
talking
from
to
me,
me.
but I do want to know. It doesn't bum you out that it's less likely for a woman to become president?
I don't feel bummed out because I know that if I want to pursue something that I want to do, I have every capability to do it in this country.
I don't feel bummed out. Women should not be in positions of extreme leadership like presidents, et cetera, because we're too emotional.
I'm feeling a lot of
emotional,
emotions
too. Men
right
can be
now.
impulsive.
I'm not saying that men can't be
yeah,
emotional.
Like we had a
Men are
president.
more
We had a president
logical.
who would literally just
And now
go
we
on
have a
Twitter
president
every
whose brain
day.
doesn't-
I knew it. I knew it. I called it in the beginning of the video. These guys are losers. Like, these guys are like, oh, man, you had men can be repulsive, man. Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You have women who are telling you about the feminist movement, and you're trying to tell them about how it is. Come on, bro. Come on, man. I have to be inclined to agree with a Bloom breast here. She is absolutely correct. Women are more emotional. They won't really make a logical, decisive choice when it comes to that. Sometimes they do, for sure. Not saying that all women don't. But when it comes down to certain things, I mean, hell, I like to use this all the time. If you're in a relationship with a woman, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, you ask them what to eat, they ain't eat. They can't even tell you what they want to eat. That's how indecisive they are when it comes to certain things. So it's imaginative. So if you extrapolate that to a much bigger decision, come on.
Every second.
Wait, one person so she can hear us.
To be logical and to be sound is not something defined by gender. It's just something defined by your own
The
psychology.
left and right brain, it
That's just
actually
false.
is though.
That's
That's
just
not
false.
false. It's not
Come on,
false.
man.
It
Come
is
on.
not
Really?
false.
I
Really?
know, your question about leadership, I think, is a very poignant question because a lot of people are asking that. Why don't we see more female presidents? Why don't we see more female CEOs or Fortune 500 companies?
She's gonna get it on
And
track.
again, it goes back to those gender differences. There will be women who will be exceptions to the generalized rule of what it means to be feminine, and those women you will see succeed in extreme leadership. But we should also discuss discuss what the conditions of extreme leadership are. We're talking 80-hour work weeks, subscribing yourself to your career and nothing else.
Forgoing family and children.
Psychologically and biologically, women tend to lean in the direction of not making those choices for themselves, while men are highly competitive, they are highly analytical, systematic, they're willing to put in that time and take extreme measures to gain career status.
Exactly. Very eloquently put. Very eloquently put. That's the thing. Like she said, women don't really lean towards that. They don't lean towards the high-end leadership positions because of what it takes to get said position. You're going to have some exceptions to the rule, of course. Yeah, you're going to do that. But the reality of it is you're not going to see it as often. Women are more emotional and they're more interested in people. So that means that they'll probably be wanting to start a family. They'll probably be wanting to not work 80 plus fucking hours. They don't want to put in all of that time when that's not what they are by nature. I knew these guys weren't going to really have any type of logical things. They're not thinking logically. They're stupid. They're just you got your opinion on Twitter. So who gives a fuck if he's on Twitter? Who gives a shit? How is that affecting your fucking day?
Exactly.
But in an egalitarian society, it's about having that choice to make that decision. And
Yes,
that's what feminism
but we
is about.
do.
It's
but
about
we already
having,
have that choice.
We do
If
have that
I want to go
but
own
it's
my
being-
own company, I
it's being
can.
restricted.
Like I said in the beginning, we've all agreed that the beginning of feminism was going in the right
Humanizing
direction.
women,
It
right?
was humanizing women. It was making them equal to men. It was giving us the same opportunities so that we can go vote, so that I can go get a job, so that I can drive a car. Like
She can
there's
run for
other
president if
countries
she wants.
that I know that we weren't talking about other countries, but if you want to talk about feminism, go protect the women who get beat up for driving a car in other countries.
Men are falling behind in society.
I just think, we have amazing men here today. It's not hard
thank
to
you.
be on this
You
panel
barely
with
know
you to see this masculine energy. However, I know that men are not able to be men anymore because of the feminists, modern feminist propaganda. I coach men in my practice and they tell me I don't even know what I can do on a date anymore. Can I ask a woman out? Am I gonna get in trouble for this now? I really like her. I kind of want to put my hand around her waist, but maybe that's gonna, I'm gonna be all over social media, this kind of thing. And I think men don't have the balls anymore to just stand up and be a man, be dangerous.
I agree, man.
Fierce.
I agree with that. It's time to bring that shit back. As I just said, this society is way too fucking soft. It's way too soft. People care too much about what you feel and how I feel. My feelings are hurt. I don't give a fuck. It shouldn't even matter about that. What it should matter about is, are we moving forward? Because I feel like we're moving backwards. I feel like we're making men soft. Like realistically making men soft. And that ain't how I roll. I ain't with all that. You know what I'm saying? They want to bring up these stupid ass terms and stuff and phrases of toxic masculinity. What the fuck does that even mean? Somebody define toxic masculinity. Somebody define it, please. I want examples of toxic masculinity in the comments. Y'all let me know what the fuck that means.
I want to respond to a lot of what you said.
Please.
Does anybody else want?
You make a really interesting point. However, I feel like a lot of the reasons why men can't actively express masculinity in a positive way is because of the patriarchal structures that we have. Part of where I'm coming from with this is I'm trans. So I was born female. Now I present as male. I came out socially and medically transitioned at 18.
Okay.
The feminist movement is what helped me feel empowered enough to be who I am and be a man.
And no disrespect to your process. I know it's a very strenuous thing that you go through, but I see a woman still. I feel feminine energy from you.
That's all right.
Damn. She said, look now, you may present a man, but I don't see a man. I see a woman. Damn. All right, bro. She real, though. She real. She being real, dog. Hey, she being real, dog. She being real.
Right. I
And
totally
so when you
respect
say
that.
you're a man, then it's like, I don't see that.
The way I think about it is more like about individual choice and individual freedom. And if I want
I
to say
think
that
you're
I
a
have
loser.
feminine energy and people view me as masculine or vice versa, then that's their problem. That's not my problem. And for me, that's what feminism is about giving people the choice to act in accordance with however the hell they want to.
But that's a
not
very
how
dangerous
feminism
society.
That's
to
not how
say.
feminism started, though. Yeah, we went from, you know, wanting equal rights for women and equality for women, and now it's
Humanizing
kind of
women, right?
humanizing women,
Yes.
making it to where I think we all agree, you know, women now are equal to men, and with like third and fourth wave feminism, especially fourth wave feminism, it's kind of turned into individuality, like you said.
It doesn't take a
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, the original stance of the feminist movement was for equality. Equality in terms of like she said, humanizing him from a human perspective. Like, you have the same rights that I have. You can now own land as I can own land. You can now buy a house as I can buy a house. You can now vote as I can vote. You can now choose to go in this profession as I can choose to go in this profession. That is what the feminist movement was about. Was about the equality of being a human. I am human. You are human. We should be able to be on this same playing field, even playing field, right? Now, as she said, it's about the individuality. Now it's how I feel. I feel like this, so you need to do this. I feel this way, so you need to do it this way. That's not what it's about. That's not what it should be about. There is no right that a man has at this point in time that a woman does not have. No right. Nobody can name one. Nobody can name one. Every time that's presented, nobody can name one. So it's one of those things to where, like I said, I already knew this was going to break down this way. These dudes on this panel don't know what the fuck they talking about. They just talking that shit because they want to seem important. They want to feel like they're saying something important, and they're not. So that's why I knew when I said that, like I said, from my anecdotal evidence, the guys that I know, the dudes that I know, when they proclaim this, like I'm being a feminist here and doing this and doing that, it's because they trying to get fucked. That's all it is. They want to get some fucking going. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying? They just gonna lie and say what it is, and I'm with you, rah, feminist, yeah. But in reality, they really ain't trying to believe all that stuff. They ain't really trying to do all that. They just trying to get some. That's it.
a man to tell me how to be a man. It doesn't take a woman either. I can define myself as a man how I want to. I don't need somebody like Andrew Tate to be like, you're not a man unless you do this. I also don't need a woman to come up and be like, you're not a real man if you don't do this. And it's the same with femininity. I'm not going to tell you how to be a woman. I don't think another woman should.
See, these guys are fucking idiots. Andrew Tate is not telling you how to be a man. He's already said multiple times. See, folks like this just don't listen. You need to take what is being said, you need to digest what is being said, and you need to interpret it as is. Not as an attack on you of you saying that you're less than a man because you don't have these things. That's not what he's saying, and that's not what his message is. Andrew Tate's message has only and always been about self-improvement. He's already said on multiple occasions, if you want to go have a life, get you a wife, or whatever you want to do, and you're happy with making your 40 to 45K or 50K a year, and you have your house and you're happy, great. That's what he said. That's awesome. That is awesome. But if you want more, if you desire more, here are the things that you would need to do in order to reach that level. That's all that it's ever been about. It's always about self-improvement. You need to self-improve in order to gain certain levels, right? It's just like a game. It's just like a video game. In order to get better at a game or to beat that level, you must learn the intricacies of said level and get to where your skills are better than the skills that that level presents. That's how you gain the next level and you continue to move up and up and up. That's all that is. So this dude, like I said, these guys on this panel, man, I don't know what the fuck they talking about, man. They just talking that bullshit. Trust me, I already know. I can see it. They just talking that bullshit.
Should tell you how to be a woman either.
So what would you tell kids?
Yeah, like you have a daughter. Do you really want to be guided by the ambiguous, define yourself as however you want to define yourself. And for her mind to be molded and shaped by men who, no disrespect, women who turn themselves into men and then turn themselves back and say there's a lot of dissatisfaction when the root of the problem wasn't the gender, it was everything else.
There's actually
slow down, though.
very
I
low
feel like
I
rates
looked at the
of
percentages.
detransitioning, but that's
I looked at
neither
the
here nor there.
percentages.
That's also a minority of the population.
feels like you're bundling a lot of ideas, which makes it hard to respond. But
Well, because there's so much data to support
can you
these.
repeat what's the main question?
Do you
want me
want
to
your
answer?
daughter's mind to be formed and shaped by a society that tells her it's okay to be masculine and to be a man, and that she
Totally.
doesn't need a man, and that it's better off for her to be alone and put her career first and not have children?
I think it's more likely than not that she'll probably follow a more conventional path. If my daughter grows up and she wants to dress like a boy, like great. If she, for whatever reason, is experiencing gender dysphoria, like we would navigate that together. But that, to me, it doesn't scare me. And I would all the more want to live in a world that...
I feel like that's sad because
Why,
it's
though?
because my son, I encourage him. I say, you are to be, and I really don't care the backlash. You're supposed to be attracted to women. And
Isn't
I
that
tell
a lot
him,
of pressure?
and I tell no, and I ask him,
But what
who
if
are
he's not?
Because life for transgender individuals, and my son's African American as well, is very freaking hard. I don't know if we can swear. I'm sorry.
You can.
It's very hard. Do you know this to be true?
Asking people or putting pressure on your son or putting pressure on
don't
my daughter
pressure.
to not...
I just tell him.
Okay, but to not be their true self, if that's truly how they feel,
that's
it
not
feels
their
like
true
that
self.
would
No,
be...
it's, they're not their true
that's
self.
this like
Thank you.
that's this way. It's
Thank you.
society has influenced everybody to
correct.
be
We are
like,
so off
you know.
prompt.
When you say I can
I feel-
identify, I can be whatever I want. If I want to say, I'm Beyonce today, I can now just be Beyonce.
But do you
right?
actually believe that?
I do.
But
But
like, I don't
wait,
think
wait.
you
Can we
believe
talk
it.
about
You
the prompt?
genuinely
Yeah,
believe
let's roll back.
The prompt.
We're getting off topic, guys. We're getting way off topic.
Men need to be masculine to keep their families safe.
Yes.
Of course he's going to step forward. Look at him. I think there's a reason why people love Andrew Tate. And whatever you think about him in regards to what he's being accused of, which he has not been proven, but that's neither here nor there, men gravitated toward that. Why? Because he spoke to men in a sense of being a man, being a protector, and you have to be in charge of all your faculties and think more critically.
Sure.
So those aspects of masculinity appealed to men because men want to innately protect. If I go on a date and you take me out on a date and he's like, no, I wouldn't, but that's okay. And you take me to a dinner and you don't sit facing the door, I'm never going out on another date with you. It's not like we're helpless, like, I can't do anything, but having a man stand by you, protect you and your family and your children, masculinity is very important.
There are situations, like for example, like I'm like 230 pounds, my girlfriend's like 110, 5'2". Like, there's no way if somebody breaks in a house that she's gonna fight them off, unless she has a gun on her or something. But so in that situation, I would fill that masculine role. But like anybody can be strong. Anybody, like in a situation where I'm not there, I would hope if we had kids, she could protect them and defend them like the best she could. Where I get the issue with like, oh, men need to be masculine. It's like, oh, men need to always go work and bring the money and all this stuff. Because my girlfriend, she's highly educated. She actually makes way more money than I do, like way more. I work as a personal trainer. I don't make as much as she does. It is traditionally not very masculine for a woman to make more money than a man. And I know some people, they will be like, oh, you're not a real man if your woman makes more money than you. That's pathetic. Why is she with you? You sound like a loser. Things like that. And I don't let that define my masculinity. I used to be insecure about it, but now I've grown more mature, and I feel like we're getting to a society where it's
You're still a loser.
problem. And like some people might disagree with this, and like, but it's just my opinion. I think to raise a son, it's easier if you're a man. It doesn't have to be a father. It could be an uncle or some positive role model. Same thing with a positive female role model, because like, I don't know what it's like to be like a female going through puberty, but I was a young man. Right now, a lot of our young men are misguided, and a lot of them are making bad decisions. And it's because like a lot of these young men get this testosterone boost, their brains aren't fully developed, and they like the vast majority of
I might take it back, bro. You might not be a loser.
The reason I walk forward is about exactly what you just said. Men have these feelings and this aggression often deep inside them, and it's about using that aggression or those feelings that you have to protect rather than to inflict.
I guess I'm just not entirely sure what, like, just masculinity in general has to do with keeping people safe.
Could I quickly respond? And that I
Yeah.
just think it's that men have that natural propensity towards it. If I think of roles in society that are protectors, we could say police officers, anybody who's going to take on that role of physical aggression in order to stop a bad situation from happening. Men tend to take those roles.
Exactly.
And if you just look
Exactly.
at the demographics of those roles in particular, men choose to take that on
Exactly.
and persevere and
Exactly.
drive for it.
Let's say I get married to a guy and he wants to be a stay-at-home dad. That's fine. I enjoy working. So I actually wouldn't be totally opposed to me grabbing the gun if an intruder came in and being the one to kill somebody, if my husband's normally like the one protecting the kids, I guess. I don't think it necessarily matters who's protecting the family, just somebody must.
I like what you said about intuition though. Like my wife has a lot of intuition. I think she's better than me at like helping us avoid unsafe situations.
But to physically combat a stranger that's at your door with a gun, a mask on, and is breaking in.
Yeah, it's convenient to have someone who's more like him than.
But would you send your wife
But I
who's
just don't think
intuitive to
men-
use her intuitive powers to handle that, to protect? Or would you use your masculine, my daughter's protected, I'm going down there?
If we get attacked, I'm going to do everything I can to protect my
That's-
family. That's not men having to be masculine.
Yes, it is.
That's
Yes, it is.
bull.
Yes, it is. You have to have some type of primal innateness in terms of just in you, right? Of like protection and like it's not going down like that, right? That's why we have that. That's why men have that. Because it ain't gonna happen that way. This ain't gonna go the way you think it's gonna go, right? That's what it is. Like men have that. Just like with women, if you think about it, and I'm gonna leave it at this. So if you think about it, if you see how women interact with other women, you notice that if there's something that's gonna pop off, they're very boisterous, they're very loud, they're very talkative, and more than likely they're gonna start swinging and start, swinging and fighting and doing all this, right? Whereas when it comes to men, there is an invisible wall between men, especially people we don't know. There's an invisible wall there. And that invisible wall is basically the wall of something could pop off. And by it popping off, it could be life or death. And we know this. We have this aura about us. We know this as men. That's why most of the time when it comes to somebody you don't know, the greeting is very stiff, very firm, very masculine. Hey man, how's it going? Good shake, firm grip. Because it's one of those things to where I'm showing you I'm standing my ground. They do it in the animal kingdom with rams and shit. Who's the alpha? Who's this? Right? You have to have that as a man. You have to present that as a man. Because the way John himself is presenting, I know if we walked in a room, he's one of them motherfuckers who's going to cower down. Who's going to be like, ugh. Nah, you don't want to do that in front of your lady, right? Granted, some women may like that. The women I've encountered, they don't like that shit. No woman that I've known or talked to, they don't like soft men. They don't like Play-Doh men. They like a man who's going to be a man's man. Again, who has this primal innate ability within themselves. Like they like that. That's what women like. So I don't know what the fuck he talking about, but whatever, John. Well, guys, that was the video there. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a cool conversation. Not gonna lie. I kind of went through it. I didn't watch the whole thing because the whole thing was about 50 minutes to an hour long. So I didn't watch the whole thing. You guys can check it out. I'm going to put the original video link down below in the comment section. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was actually good. I will say that my thought process of what I thought and how those men were was actually spot on. I knew they really didn't know what they were talking about. I knew they were kind of speaking out the side of their neck. They just wanted to feel like they belonged in something, and they just wanted to feel like they had a voice in something, which is fine, whatever. But I feel like if you're going to come to a conversation such as this, you need to have your facts in order, and you need to do that, because I feel like the women got the best of those guys because they were on point. They knew what was up. They knew what the first wave feminism was. They knew what the second and third wave and all of this stuff was going going into. They had their stuff together, and they could actually speak on the facts very eloquently. Whereas the men were just like, man, you guys are oppressed. You guys are oppressed. And really was no substance in what they were saying. But guys, this is your chance to let me know. Y'all comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you thought this was an interesting conversation to have. Let me know what you side on. Let me know on the subjects that they did say what you do side on. These type of conversations are very good to have because you get to see different people's points of view, especially if you're having it in a nice, healthy space and a nice, healthy conversation back and forth between individuals. I think that's dope to have, and I think that's awesome to have. So this is your guys' chance. As I said, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And now with that being said, I want you guys to enjoy y'all's goddamn day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.